This is a Valentine's Day video.
So how do we spend our Valentine's Day?
Making videos.
Making videos for you because we love you and you're our Valentine.
What's up? It's Lauren from Hot for Food, and it's the beginning of February, which means we're prepping for V-Day, Valentine's Day, the day of love. And I say skip the chocolates, the wine, the roses, so cliche. You know, don't even go out for dinner. Just get your person, your human that you like the most together and make dinner together. That's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna show you how to make a dish of ours. It is vegan scallops with spaghetti, crispy kale, and pomegranates. It's a gorgeous looking dish. I feel like it looks kind of pretty for Valentine's Day. Now, oysters and pomegranates are aphrodisiacs, which means they get the juices flowing. I don't know if oyster mushrooms are, but that's what we're using to make these vegan scallops. You've probably seen this if you watch any chefy type shows on television, and maybe you've had them at a vegan restaurant, but you take these stems of an oyster mushroom and they look like scallops when you fry them up. It's pretty crazy, and it's also very tasty in a pasta dish. So let's get started. It's not that hard to prep, just a couple different components, and then you'll have a tasty meal on your hands that you can enjoy with the one you love. So you're just gonna trim the little bit off the bottom so that you have a flat end. These are king oyster mushrooms, not regular oyster mushrooms. This is what you need because they come with the big fat stem. Now you can cut off the top. Those don't really look like scallops, so you can save them for another recipe, or you can cook them as well. You're gonna cut, 1-inch pieces like this. And when these fry up and the edges get brown, they look like scallops. You need between 14 and 18 medallions, which is about 6 king oyster mushrooms for 2 people. So obviously, of course, these are not scallops. And if you wanna start debating, the fact of the matter is the texture is like a scallop and the look is like a scallop. And the way that you trick your senses is by cooking it in the same flavors as a scallop. And so because a mushroom's pretty neutral, and a scallop in and of itself is pretty neutral, you wanna create a kind of marinade or a brine for these. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna soak them in hot water mixed with rice wine vinegar. If you don't have rice wine vinegar, you can just mix rice vinegar with white wine vinegar. And it's that acidity and the hot water that kind of soaks into these little scallop stem things, and it kind of creates more moisture. They're like a sponge, so they're going to absorb some of this, and then when we cook them, they're nice and juicy. So in a bowl, you want to combine the hot water with the vinegar, and then you want to let these submerge in there for about 30 minutes. They're going to float, so you can take another dish and sort of set it on top of your bowl so that it pushes the little medallions into the water. So this dish is all about texture. That's why we've got the spaghetti, we've got the scallops, which are an interesting texture, and then that's why I chose to do crispy kale on top. Instead of sauteing the kale into the sauce and the pasta, we cook it separately by baking it. And so the best kale for this is the dark leafy lacinato kale, I think is how you pronounce it, as opposed to the ruffled sort of green leafy kale. So you just have to roughly chop it, and then we're gonna coat it in a tablespoon of olive oil and lemon juice. Of course, you have to massage the kale, which is just practice for later, so don't be afraid. The kale bakes at 350 Fahrenheit, and make sure you watch it closely. It takes only 6 to 8 minutes. When it comes out, it should still be bright green and slightly crispy. So once the mushrooms are done soaking, you're ready to make the sauce, and your kale's also done. You wanna get your pasta boiling, and for God's sakes, don't overcook it. So just before you drain your pasta, ensure that you reserve some of the pasta water because we're gonna use it for the sauce. I've drained the brine from the oyster mushroom scallops. We're heating up a pan over medium-high heat to sear these, and I'm using olive oil, but you could also use vegan butter if you want it to be slightly richer. So you're gonna sear these on the first side anywhere between 3 to 6 minutes. About halfway through, add some salt and pepper. Then when you flip, they should be nice and golden brown around the edges like this. And then you're gonna sear them on the other side for about 4 to 6 minutes. And then about halfway through the other side, just add a pinch more salt and pepper. Then remove them from the pan into a dish and cover them to keep warm while you prepare the sauce in the same pan. Turn the pan's heat lower because it's gonna be way too hot, and add some olive oil to the pan along with shallots, leek, and garlic, and you're gonna saute that for a few minutes until it's soft and fragrant. Then add dried oregano, dried basil, and chili flakes. Now you're gonna add a cup of white wine and bring it to a simmer. Then add the pasta water. That's gonna help it thicken and let it reduce. Then add salt and pepper. And then we're gonna toss in the spaghetti. And now we're ready to plate. So how fancy, vegan scallops with spaghetti, crispy kale, and pomegranates.
One of the pomegranates looks like a heart.
I know. How you like that Valentine's Day dinner? 2 thumbs up. Bye. Love you. I think this is a fabulous Valentine's Day dinner, and the thing is, there are multiple components to make at once, so it is something you should make together if you are with somebody on Valentine's Day, and they can help you out. You can create the dinner together, not just have one person make it and then serve the other person. So this is part 1. Next week, as we get closer to Valentine's Day, I will show you how to make a delicious vegan dessert for 2 for Valentine's Day as well. So make sure you're watching next Wednesday here on our channel. Subscribe if you're not already. And also, Notification Squad. Apparently you gotta click that bell. If you're not clicked to the bell, that means you don't get notified when we post, because you have to enable notifications. I know there's a lot of confusion going on right now in the YouTube space about not getting notified, etc., etc. So it's all about clicking the bell. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you have a lovely Valentine's Day and you're thinking ahead and preparing for the big day. Just kidding, it's not that big of a day. I don't really like Valentine's Day, but you know, it's all about food really at any occasion. So it's just another excuse for me to make and eat good food. Follow us on social media at Pot4Food.